This is Nerd Hat.
This is Nerd Hat.
This is Nerd Hat.
Nerd Hatters.
Nerd Hatters.
I didn't know we were starting that.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah, we did that last week too. Or 2 weeks ago.
Hatter babies.
We just make it up as we go.
You did that last week.
Last time, yeah.
Was I here?
Yeah, you were here.
Welcome. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe I should do it in the Batman voice. Welcome, Nerd Hatters. Swear to me. No.
Or we could not do that. That's an option. That's an option to not. Yep.
That's an option to not do that thing. It's our new intro song.
Well, I am just happy to be here. Let's talk about the same movie that we did a few weeks ago that I just adored.
This is Beetlejuice Beetlejuice, not Beetlejuice.
Oh,
Beetlejuice
much different film.
Beetlejuice 2. Beetlejuice the second.
So I saw this movie a few weeks ago. Richard saw it fresh today.
Fresh. How was it? Was it moving? Did it move you to tears?
Should we talk about what it is first before we get into impressions, or do we want to just do initial impressions first?
I want to hear about the tearing. That's what I want to hear about.
All right, Will, did this move you? Did it give you a nostalgia boner as we discussed last week?
Richard! What?
You don't remember that?
Maybe I've forgotten.
I guess it wasn't technically. It wasn't 2 weeks ago. When we did Beetlejuice, it was 4 weeks ago. But.
Yeah, I'm in the room for goodness sake.
Shout out to Film Flamers podcast for giving me that term.
I mean, okay, all right. Okay.
Well,
tickle your nostalgia bone. Does that sound any
No,
better?
it doesn't. I'm uncomfortable.
This is entertaining.
It's so weird.
What do you think? What were your initial feelings, thoughts when you came out of the theater? Maybe that's the way to them.
At first, I hated it, but then I just sat on it for a while, and I was like, you know what? No, it was a good film. We'll talk about it later, but if I were to change anything, it would. My only grievance after thinking about it for a while is that the A plot became like a B or C plot, which we'll talk about that later. I want your thoughts on that too. But otherwise, I would see this movie again. And if I hadn't been so busy, I would have seen it again with you at some point, but that just didn't work out.
Okay, so those were his out of the gate thoughts. Mine, which I shared a little bit with our Instagram family earlier, but
yeah, I saw you going in the theater, but I didn't check your instant reaction.
Yeah, so first reaction is I enjoyed it, and having just seen the first one recently, I feel like my comparison is definitely going to be different than people who saw it way back in the day, obviously, such as yourself. But
yeah.
Comparing the two somewhat fresh, it seemed like a worthy successor to me. I thought it did a good job as a sequel, developed the character some, built some more on backstory.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought it captured the spirit of the original pretty well. I liked that it used practical effects more than it perhaps some of its competitors might. Like it didn't resort to CGI as much as some might. It did more practical effects, which I liked. And they did a good job with it too, like good production value.
Oh, yeah.
And it was nice seeing Catherine O'Hara back in that role. It was a little interesting seeing her doing that after watching Schitt's Creek with Laura. She did not do that voice at all. David. No, like no, Alexis. Okay, you can do it better than I can.
You're welcome.
I thought fairly solid performances all around, with the exception of Winona Ryder, who I felt honestly was a little weak.
Oh, okay.
But I'm not a huge fan of her later work. Even though I love Stranger Things, sometimes her character just really annoys me in Stranger Things.
Okay.
Part of that, she's just like anxious all the time. And some of that energy came out, I think, in her character here.
What about Little Women?
She was different in Little Women. Granted, she's a lot younger. But yeah, I didn't get the anxious. Maybe some of that's just come with her getting older. I don't know. I don't know if that's a personal thing or if that's an acting choice. It's hard to say. But yeah.
Well, speaking of all this, I felt that Michael Keaton was a bit stiff, but I guess
Michael
that's to be
Keaton's in this?
expected.
Yeah, he plays Beetlejuice.
Like again?
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Yeah, all the original
Oh, dear.
actors came back.
Oh god.
I shouldn't say all of them, but like
Why?
of the characters that they brought back, the original actors played them still.
Why are you giggling, Will? Why? Why was the first one
It's
that
called Beetlejuice, and you didn't expect Michael Keaton to be back.
good? Yeah, I didn't. I mean,
Did you think it was like a reboot?
like they would make it over again just with current effects? No. Well, I don't know what I thought. I don't know. Sometimes it's weird when they get all the cast back. Like, hey, wasn't that cute so many years ago? Let's do it again. No.
Yeah.
That's weird. That's dumb.
So that's to be expected that he was a little stiff because he's older now, I think.
Literally a little stiffer.
Yeah.
I think he also gained a little bit of weight for the role. So.
I'm hoping that was a fake belly, but we'll see.
Oh, I mean, could be. The other movies I've seen him in recently, like The Flash, for instance, he was in decent shape for that. Like,
yeah,
and also the Spider-Man movies a little further back. But so yeah, it could be a fake belly, but he also might have gained a little weight. It wasn't a ton of weight. It was just he had a little, like a beer belly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What's the difference between a beer belly and a dad bod? This is not a joke. I'm legitimately asking.
Well, beer belly is like the fat is like just right here. It's like
Where?
it don't seem fat the rest of your body, but it's like just.
Oh,
right,
so dad
just right.
bods everywhere.
I mean, it depends on the guy, but yeah, in general, beer belly, at least as I understand it, it's a little different.
Okay.
Anyway,
well, according to Walmart, who used to put the beer right next to the diapers, they're the same thing.
I don't. I don't know why that was funny, but I enjoyed your giggle.
They still do put them close together.
Oh, like in the store?
Or at least the one we go to, they're close together, like right across the aisle.
It's almost as if one leads to the other.
Yeah, good.
Look at Laura.
Having babies makes you an alcoholic. Is that?
Or being an alcoholic leads to having babies.
This is not healthy choices. I do not like this. No.
All right, back to Beetlejuice. Dun dun dun. So, Will, would you like to read the plot this time, since this was your choice? I can read the intro if you want to read the plot, and we'll kind of use it as structure like we did last time. Just riff on it.
Alrighty.
All right, so I'll do the intro here. Beetlejuice is a 2024 American dark fantasy comedy horror film directed by Tim Burton from a screenplay by Alfred Goh and Miles Millar. A sequel to Beetlejuice, of course, the second film of the Beetlejuice franchise. The film stars Michael Keaton, Winona Ryder, and Catherine O'Hara, reprising their roles alongside new cast members Justin Theroux, Monica Bellucci, Jenna Ortega, and Willem Dafoe. Set more than 3 decades, which I didn't expect Willem Dafoe to be in it. I didn't know he was going to be in it. I was like, I was pleasantly surprised. Set more than 3 decades after the first Beetlejuice, it follows Lydia Dietz, now a mother, struggling to keep her family together in the wake of a loss as the specter Beetlejuice returns to haunt her.
I thought they were married. Weren't they married?
Beetlejuice and Lydia?
Yeah.
No, he tried, but it was unsuccessful in the first film.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
His plot was foiled.
I don't like what any of this implies. So go ahead and continue with the with the summary.
Let's see. So this is just a little bit about the film. After the success of Beetlejuice, plans for a sequel were announced by the Geffen Film Company, its original producers. So it took a while for this to come to fruition. Little materialized until 2011 when Warner Brothers hired Seth Grahame-Smith to pitch a story. Went through numerous revisions before being shelved in late 2019. Plans for the sequel were revived in early 2022 with Burton set to co-produce with Brad Pitt's studio, Plan B Entertainment. After the casting process finished in early 2023, principal photography supervised by cinematographer Haris Zambarloukos. That sounds very Greek. Took place in parts of England and the US from May to November, despite being suspended for 4 months due to the 2023 actors' strike. So it opened the 81st Venice International Film Festival on August 28th, 2024, and was theatrically released on September 4th. So far, it has grossed $402 million worldwide against an estimated $100 million budget.
So How much?
400 million. So it's pretty good return on investment so far.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Solid.
Okay.
So
I'm hoping they make another one just so we get Beetlejuice.
Yeah. Well, I think they left it open just enough that.
Oh, they did. This ending confuses me.
All right, you want to jump into the plot, sir?
In 2024, a robot goes back in time to stop a movie from being. I'm kidding. Lydia Dietz hosts the supernatural TV talk show Ghost House. She has been estranged from her daughter Astrid since Lydia's former husband and Astrid's father, Richard, died while in the Amazons. The Amazons. Is that correct? That's what Wikipedia says, but
died by the Amazons? No, I think in the Amazon River.
Right, but it literally says Amazon is plural.
Oops.
Anyway, while taping an episode, Lydia hallucinates seeing Beetlejuice, or does she? The ghost who tried to marry her 36 years earlier in the audience. Shortly after, Lydia's stepmother,
Delia?
Delia, yeah, I almost said Delia. Thank you. Informs, I haven't but seen this movie 100 times, so you think I know this now, but so Delia informs Lydia, oh, that rhymes, that Father Charles has died in a gruesome accident. They and Astrid travel to Winter River, Connecticut for Charles' funeral. At the lake, Rory, Lydia's boyfriend and producer, pressures her to marry him on Halloween. She Excuse me, it's late. I'm tired. She hesitantly agrees. Meanwhile, Astrid meets a local boy named Jeremy Fraser who invites her to spend Halloween with him.
So I want to insert one thing here: the gruesome accident. So he had his head and most of his shoulders bit off by a shark.
Charles, yeah.
After being in an airplane crash and surviving the crash, but then while hanging on to a floating device, you got.
Yeah, there was like this CGI claymation.
Yeah, that was an interesting choice. I'm assuming that's because they didn't want to be involved with the actor who apparently has been accused of something inappropriate, sexual harassment or something.
Spicy.
Pedophilia. Oh yeah. Yeah, so they did not have him in the.
No. That's why his head's bitten off.
Yeah. I suspected that was a little bit of a jab. Like they had someone do voice matching probably, and
yeah,
and it was pretty gruesome. Like every time he talks, like there's part of the larynx sticking up and like blood spurts out.
Fun.
Anyway, I just wanted to insert that, and then I thought it was funny that Delia makes his headstone a transparent shark fin.
What? I didn't notice that.
You didn't notice that? Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it was a transparent shark fin with his picture.
Wow.
Yeah, pretty.
Well, that's thoughtful.
Yeah. Well, she was using it for, to get attention for her art.
Yeah.
Delia.
Sorry, Delia is the 17-year-old in the first movie?
No, she was the stepmom, like the artist, the bad sculptor stepmom.
Oh, okay.
All right. Do you have anything you want to add in there, Will, before we continue?
How did you well, I kind of want to know if you saw it coming or how you felt about the new boyfriend here, Jeremy. Or if you want, we can save that till after I read the entire plot.
It did, like, I think as the movie went on, like they gave enough of the backstory that it made sense, I think. But yeah, it took a little while, like for that to coalesce.
Yeah.
So yeah, the initial introduction was a little abrupt, and it wasn't clear at first whether he was her boyfriend or just her producer on the show. And
oh no! I meant the Jeremy character that Astrid runs into when she hits her head on the thing.
I got the two mixed up.
No, it's fine. Do you want to talk about that? I just wanted to know if you saw the twist coming, or if it was a surprise to you.
I saw part of it coming, but not the whole thing. So
Right,
a little bit of a surprise.
I pretty much saw it coming. So I wasn't too surprised. But anyway, so back to the plot. In the afterlife, Beetlejuice oversees an office of bioexorcist assisted by Bob, an anxious shrunken head ghost. Beetlejuice is still obsessed with Lydia. Former actor turned ghost detective Wolf Jackson warns Beetlejuice that his former wife Dolores has escaped captivity and gone on a murder spree, draining the souls of the dead searching for him, including Danny DeVito
being the first.
Yeah, that was a pleasant surprise that Danny DeVito was in this film.
Yeah, nice little cameo.
Emphasis on the little.
But burn from one.
So the couple
met. I am not that short, and I am not that young. Will.
Young.
What?
We had this whole conversation.
You mean old?
Where he thought I was like 10 years younger than you.
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah, I know you did. I'll never forget.
I don't judge.
We were that time.
Okay, so Dolores and Beetlejuice met during the Black Plague in Italy. I did not get that from the film that it was Italy. But Dolores was a cult member who poisoned Beetlejuice as a part of an immortality ritual. He murdered her before succumbing to the poison. Astrid discovers she has inherited her mother's psychic abilities and realizes Jeremy is a ghost. Dun dun dun.
Friendship.
He asked her to accompany him to the afterlife to help regain his life. In exchange, Astrid can meet her father's spirit. Meanwhile, Lydia learns from a realtor that Jeremy murdered his parents 23 years earlier and died when the police tried to arrest him. Lydia reluctantly summons Beetlejuice and signs a marriage contract in exchange for him taking her to the afterlife to save Astrid. Beetlejuice blows open a hole between the worlds of the living and the dead. He disguises Bob as himself as a decoy. Wolf discovers Beetlejuice has brought a living person into the afterlife and launches a manhunt for him, capturing the disguised Bob. Dolores meets Bob at the police station while continuing her search for Beetlejuice and drains Bob's soul.
Poor Bob.
Poor Bob.
I liked Bob, actually. He was like, somehow they managed to make a shrunken head zombie endearing.
No.
We all love
Bob. And you saw they dedicated the film to him at the end. I don't know if you saw that.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah, dedicated to Bob. Lived from 1724 to 2024 or something like that. But yeah, just to explain, like when you're already a ghost living in the underworld, and then your soul gets sucked out, like then you're dead. Like you can't even be in the afterlife anymore. You're just completely gone.
Well, I thought that they had that room of lost souls from the first movie.
Oh, so maybe they go there, perhaps. Although, if that woman was sucking their soul, was she like consuming the soul somehow?
Oh, you're right.
So maybe, maybe when she died, the souls were released. Maybe I don't know. They don't talk about it, but
did she die? Besides, Beetlejuice got eaten by the sandworm in the first film, and he just wound up back in the office waiting in line to be seen.
Yeah, it's true.
So, in my imagination, Dolores is back there waiting to be seen.
Probably so. Yeah, they didn't bother to do a scene with it, which I didn't think it needed it, but
No, but
kind of
I'm jumping to the ending. I'm sorry.
jumping to
Sorry, forget you
conclusions.
said that. I mean, forget I said that. Let's just forget we said anything. Okay, so back to the plot. As Beetlejuice and Lydia search for Astrid, Jeremy escorts her through the afterlife's bureaucracy. He admits tricking Astrid into exchanging her life for his. Astrid is taken to the Soul Train.
Yeah.
Soul Train.
Which they went for it. Like they had black ghosts dancing in 70s clothes, soul music. They had a black conductor, and he's like, "Time to get on the soul train." So they went for it.
Goodness.
It didn't feel exploitative. Like, it just it felt more like fun, I guess.
Sure.
Sure. Okay, so Astrid is taken to the Soul Train to be sent to the Great Beyond, but her father, Richard, spots and follows her. Lydia pulls Astrid off the Soul Train and they escape through a portal. They're talking too fast. The portal to Saturn's moon Titan, where Richard saves them from a sandworm and also is the homeworld of Thanos. While Beetlejuice sends Thanos to hell.
What?
That's not on the Wikipedia. That was a joke.
Okay.
See, I'll just put in these jokes.
No, you're getting that mixed up. Like, Thanos is a Titan. He doesn't live on Titan. Or does he? Does he live on
Right.
Titan?
What? I thought that's why he was called a Titan.
Anyway. So,
never mind.
Richard saves him from the sandworm. By the way, you see how he died because, like, blue and like literally has like fake piranhas attached to him, and while he's in every scene he's in, they're moving around and making chewing noises.
Ew.
Yeah,
it was a little gross. Yeah, it was like they're having these.
No, it's worse. It's Charles.
Ew.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's true. Charles is worse.
Here's the deal. Here it is, everyone present. I'm confused on, so who's the girl he almost committed a crime with in the first movie? Who's she? Who can
Lydia.
Lydia. Lydia is now how old in this movie?
Old.
No, well, how old? Shush. Wait, hold on. Wait.
How old is Winona Ryder right now?
She's like in her 50s.
Well, then Lydia's in her 50s.
So the character is also in her 50s?
They don't specify, but they don't say if it's been 35 years later exactly. They don't really specify. You're just left to figure that out for yourself.
So is Beetlejuice running around doing the same thing in this movie?
Well, he's a bioexorcist, although he seems to have stepped up and he has an office now.
Okay.
Lydia,
20 shrunken head people working for him.
Yeah.
That seems counterproductive. Will, what were you going to say?
Well, Lydia, they went with her being a spirit medium of some kind. She can see ghosts, so she has this TV show where she sees ghosts.
Oh.
Yeah, and like speaks to people's loved ones, that kind of thing.
Which is a bold choice I didn't see coming. I never really. I didn't see that coming in the sequel.
Well, that was a bold choice considering the worms that eat people. Continue.
Yeah, and her fiance.
Well, not a bold choice, just a choice I didn't expect. Go ahead.
Her fiance, I'm assuming he's the one that got her into it. Like her fiance, whom she met at a like a widower support group.
Wait, like in real life or in the movie?
In the movie.
He's
the producer of the show.
Okay.
Yep. And we find out that later
he's gay.
Not quite.
Oh.
Anyway.
So,
Where were we?
I just want to know what's happening. So so Beetlejuice has an office now with shrunken heads. Lydia's if it's a TV show person who's in her 50s, and that's how she makes her living now. Does she have kids?
Yeah.
Did I hear that?
She has one kid.
Who's the dad?
So the
Richard.
dad is named Richard, and he was killed years before they'd already divorced, and then he decided to go because he was like an environmental activist of some type. So he went down to Brazil to help save the rainforest, and he fell into the river and got eaten by piranhas.
Oh,
but they didn't know that.
And that's the guy who came back, who Beetlejuice brought back.
No,
they run into him while they're in the underworld.
Who's they?
So
Lydia and Astrid.
Who's Astrid?
So Astrid is Lydia's daughter. Lydia is kind of the weird 15-year-old from the first movie. Now she has a daughter named Astrid. And Astrid.
I thought she was 17. She's 15.
Oh, yeah, you could be right. Well, they say this is about the same age, but in that range, I mean, 15. She's in high school.
Right. And the reason why, Laura, the reason why Astrid, the daughter, is in the afterlife is because her new boyfriend Jeremy tricked her into going there.
Yeah, like she doesn't realize, because Astrid is definitely a skeptic towards her mom, doesn't believe that her mom can actually see ghosts or talk to them, and is upset that her mom, it seems convenient to her that the one ghost that her mom can't seem to see is her dad. Like she's like the one that she really wants to be able to communicate with. Her mom has told her she can't see him for some reason. So she's just very skeptical, doesn't believe that her mom's actually able to see ghosts, doesn't like her mom's boyfriend, which she has good instincts on that front. We find out. I mean, you can tell almost right off the bat that he's kind of sleazy.
Yeah.
Just find out even more further down the line how bad he is.
I want a spoiler alert.
For the...
How bad is he?
Well, so at the end...
Does he eat babies?
No. But towards the end of the film, like Beetlejuice is trying to marry... Okay, so...
Oh my gosh!
He's trying to marry
again. Guys.
So Lydia, when Lydia finds out that her daughter
this time
and going into the afterlife with the ghost boy, the murderer ghost boy, tricked her, and kind of dangling out there the possibility for getting to see her father, in the afterlife, and not telling her that his real plan was to switch places with her so he could come back to the land of the living.
What a douche canoe.
Yeah.
Oh,
he ends up being sent to hell by Beetlejuice later.
Oh,
or at least that's the implication. He's
he's trying to bang a 17-year-old again. Why?
No. She's trying to.
Will, no.
So Astrid is the one who got tricked to going into the afterlife by Jeremy, the murderous ghost boy.
Yes.
And Lydia, her mom, is forced. She can't think of another way to get help. She is forced to call Beetlejuice back. And of course, Beetlejuice isn't willing to help her unless she agrees to marry him.
Okay, so
because he's still obsessed.
Obsessed?
Yeah, he still thinks.
And I wonder why he's so obsessed with Lydia, because he didn't seem obsessed with Lydia in the first film. It's just in the first film, Lydia was just conveniently an option.
Yeah, it seemed more. Maybe it was that because he couldn't get her. Maybe it's one of those things where like you pine after you couldn't get. Perhaps they don't really explain it. He just has her picture on his desk.
Yeah,
and he's been trying to occasionally like haunt her all these years, or like he's been trying to find a way to make that happen. And he finally gets his opportunity, so he makes her sign a contract, and then takes her illegally into the afterlife realm to go and rescue her daughter. And he does follow through on that. He does actually help her rescue her daughter, and he is the one that actually sends the murderous ghost boy to, we assume it's hell, the flames. So Beetlejuice does follow through on what he agrees to do, but he never does it for free. So he's like, you scratch my back, I scratch yours.
So but now she's of age, so that's good.
Yeah, she's in her 50s and he's what, 600 something. So there's still a massive age gap.
Yeah.
But at least she's an adult.
Yep. You heard it here, everyone. At least she's an adult.
I did like that we found out what his profession was before he died. He was a grave robber during the plague.
That's a job.
He was like going around. No, it's not an actual job.
Oh,
but like that's what he did for money. He robbed graves, and he was doing it during the plague, which seems really stupid. But
yeah,
would people bury stuff with themselves?
I guess. Like I think he rips out someone's like gold tooth or something at one point, which I don't even know if that was a thing.
I would not like to do that. No. Wait, so they're on this journey, and so they get married, right? Officially. No. They don't. Tell me what happens.
Spoiler alert.
Do you want to jump in there?
What'd you say?
Spoiler alert, Beetlejuice gets foiled again.
I don't know what that means.
He's unsuccessful again.
Why?
Well, should we return to finishing the plot here on Wikipedia or just continue?
No, tell me.
Let's just go ahead and go ahead.
Okay. Okay.
Wing it ourselves. We're running out of time.
So at the end, I want to point this out before we run out of time. The A plot that turned into a B or C plot was Dolores. She's going around sucking souls, trying to find Beetlejuice, and I thought she was going to be the big bad. But when she finally gets to Beetlejuice, I was expecting her. She gets to the church where Lydia and Beetlejuice are to be married. Actually, it was where Rory and Lydia were going to be married, but Beetlejuice exposes Rory as a gold digger.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He doesn't even believe in ghosts. He's just like, I just wanted to marry you because I would make more money as your husband than your manager.
Yeah.
I ain't so gold digger. Yeah. So Dolores, she appears during Lydia and Beetlejuice's wedding, and I'm expecting her to be like, "You tramp, he's mine," or something, And
she does say that. She does say he's mine, and kind of pushes her, like force pushes her.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I need to rewatch the movie, but what got me was that Astrid, wasn't it Astrid or Lydia? Lydia, I can't remember. While Beetlejuice is fighting Dolores, they open a door to Titan, the moon of Saturn, and get a sandworm. And the sandworm eats Dolores and the living Rory.
Yeah, they kind of shove them together, which, after finding out how he betrayed her, Lydia, they do this quick little thing where she's kind of like, ooh, he's gonna get it now. Like, and I guess he effectively dies. And she'd be okay with that because he was a piece of shit. But it's still a little dark. I'm like, oh, that's still a little dark. It's like,
in this reality, the characters continue on. They're just pale blue now or something. But yeah, you're right, a little dark. But my problem was that Dolores was set up as the big bad, but from the very beginning of the film, set up as the big bad, stapled herself together when she got out of those crates. But she's just done away with like that. Almost no fight, just.
Yeah, she was almost more of a plot device in some ways.
Yeah, and so I didn't like that. You said before seeing this movie that you hoped they would not turn Beetlejuice into an anti-hero. I was different. I actually hoped they would turn him into an anti-hero. And that's the way I wish this film had ended, but did not end. Uh, I would have rather it had ended with Beetlejuice saving Lydia from Dolores, but then still getting his comeuppance. But that didn't happen. That's just my opinion because I watched the cartoon as a kid, and I've come to realize the Beetlejuice of the cartoon is completely different from the Beetlejuice of the movie. We'll put it that way.
All right, we're gonna need to pause here on this and come back to finish up. So you'll hear us after these messages. This podcast would not be successful without you, the listener. We are grateful for every download, comment, follow, and rating. While our main episodes will always be free, we do have some basic costs like hosting fees, marketing, and of course, the recording equipment and software we use. Would you consider supporting us with a monthly donation of $3, $5, $8, or $10? Just follow the link in the show notes or on our link tree to become a supporter now. Thank you so much, nerds. Now back to your regularly scheduled programming. And we're back, nerds. We're back, nerds.
Scottish nerds.
Nerds. Homer Simpson. No.
What?
Willie.
Off the glass.
Get off me grass.
No, it didn't occur to me until just now that get off my grass or get off the grass means something entirely different today than it did decades ago.
Does it?
Does it? I don't know.
I think it depends on who's saying it too. Like if Willie says it, you know he's actually talking about grass. But if what's the bus driver's name? I forget his name from The Simpsons.
What's the name of the I think it starts with an O.
Anyway, if he says it, he's like, "Hey, get off my grass, man." Then you know it means something different.
Yeah.
Context.
Have we even seen the bus driver in a long time? Anyway, we're getting off topic.
That's a good point. Yeah, I don't know if I'd seen him in the more recent episodes. Anyway, we're not here to talk about The Simpsons. We've already done that. Not that we've exhausted Simpsons. I mean, with 36 seasons now or something like that. That's a topic you could almost never exhaust. But we have covered it a couple times. We're here to talk about Beetlejuice to wrap up our thoughts. Laura was literally falling asleep in her chair, so she had to vacate the premises and go to bed. So it was just Will and I wrapping it up here for you guys and girls and assorted other persons, nerd people of all likenesses, ethnicities, identities, etc., 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 and perhaps planetary origins.
Yeah,
because you never know. You never know. Oh, and by the way, shout out to all the Germans, or perhaps it's just one who's listened to a lot of episodes, but supposedly a good chunk of our recent listens are coming from Germany. So hey, shout out to Germany. Woohoo! Yeah, drop us a message if you want. Say hi. Give us a follow. But yeah, yes, we can. I don't know if that's creepy, but we can see. It's just general data. It's like, okay, this percentage of your listenership is coming from this country, and this percentage is coming from this country. So it's not like, okay, this address, on 4th Street in downtown New York City, George is listening right now. It's not like that, but it does tell us what countries it comes from. So anyway, hello to Germany. What's up, guys?
Hello, Germany.
I don't know how to say. I don't know how to say hi in German. You know how to say hi in German? Hello. I don't.
No, I think I used to, but I forgot.
I know how to say goodbye. I think goodbye is what Auf Wiedersehen, I think, unless that's Austrian. Sorry, guys. I did not take German in school. I took Spanish because I lived in Arizona, and that just made more sense. I did have the option. Actually, I didn't have the option of taking German. I had French and Spanish were my options, and I chose Spanish because I didn't live in Quebec, and nor did I live in like New Orleans, which it would have made. They don't technically speak French; it's Creole, which is like,
Right.
I don't know. Isn't that like an interesting variant of French or something along those lines? It's like a leftovers from when the French had the territory back in the 1500s or something.
I'm
But it
about to make
evolved.
it. Yeah, okay, I can't.
Anyway,
all you Gambit fans out there.
oh yeah, I'm pretty sure I came out of my daddy's balls ready.
Shot out ready.
I shot out of my daddy's balls ready. Which I like that Ryan Reynolds is pushing for a Channing Tatum to get his Gambit movie finally, which I would see that.
Yeah.
That sounds fun. I like Channing Tatum.
Anyway, yay ADHD. Let's get back to our topic.
That wasn't what you guys thought you would get after the break. So back to Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice.
We're taking a break. We're still on break.
So I was going to ask Will, what were things you liked about this film, and what were some things you disliked / hated?
Well, are you asking Will Boyer the lover or Will Boyer the haters?
I'm asking both sides of you, lover, the hater, and perhaps the thinker as well.
When I got out of the theater, I hated the film. But after sitting on it a while, I decided the only thing I didn't really like about the film was just that the Dolores plot was shoved aside. Maybe that was just because we wanted Beetlejuice to be the main antagonist again. I think it would have been fun if the two of them were more evenly matched, but whatever. Anyway, so that's the only thing I really don't like about the film. That, and at one point in the film, Beetlejuice says he's going to go use the men's room, and then he just disappears for a while, and then finds Delia. Delia. He finds Delia freshly dead, and that confused me. Where he actually went, what he was actually doing, and then he talks about there's my runaway bride, or I have to find my runaway bride. Well, they split up. Lydia didn't actually go escape Beetlejuice. She just kept going, and Beetlejuice was like, "I gotta use the men's room." That was just a weird plot hole. I'm not even sure if it can be called a plot hole, but I thought about it later, and I thought, well, what if Beetlejuice knew that Delia was going to die, and he was just waiting for her to arrive?
In
which case, that opens up an entirely different scenario in which Beetlejuice fabricated the deaths of Lydia's parents somehow. I don't know though, or at least Delia.
You mean fabricated or brought it about?
You brought it about. That's what I meant. Because how would Beetlejuice know to be waiting for Delia? I think that's what he went to go do, and he just said he was going to use the restroom. But that's just a theory. It just irks me that point. It's like we have to get rid of Beetlejuice, so Lydia can have her moment with Astrid, and
Richard.
Then they can have it with Richard, huh?
With Richard, yeah.
Yeah, not well,
Wasn't the Maitland guy from the first movie, wasn't his first name Richard also? Or am I imagining that?
I don't remember.
Let me take a look. Shame on you. No. You don't remember every little detail of the first Beetlejuice that you've seen 100 times.
I should know it.
Adam. Okay. His name is Adam. So Adam Maitland. Yeah. For some reason, it's like when I saw Richard, I was like, wait, who's Richard? Because I don't know if they said his name, like as far as like her dad. I don't know if they said his name. I'm trying to remember.
In the film? I don't know.
Yeah, until you find the box that says Richard on it. Until she finds it up in the attic, Astrid. But anyway, so So you said some things you didn't like. What were some things you did like?
I loved Bob.
Oh yeah, Bob was great.
I love the talking head dudes in general.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, because I'm a big fan of the cartoon series, I did love that Beetle just couldn't let go of Lydia and thought of her fondly and is haunting her. But at the same time, though, if we cut out the animated series and just go off the first film, because the animated series is obviously not canon, the films,
Right.
I don't understand why he's obsessed. But you did point out a good theory earlier that maybe it was just because she's the one who got away.
Yeah, the one that got away.
But
And
otherwise,
she was immortal who
yeah,
could see him, I guess.
yeah. So I both loved and didn't like the fact that he's still obsessed over Lydia. It only makes sense in light of the cartoon series. It doesn't make sense in light of the first film. Um, what they could have done, Astrid can see Ghost 2. He could have just been a creep and went after her. But
Yeah,
no,
which I wonder if they contemplated that and then discarded it, which I'm glad they didn't go that route. That would have been yeah, not yeah.
yeah, I'm glad they
Don't do
didn't do
that.
that.
Don't do that twice. Mm-mm.
Yeah,
I know
but
the first time it wasn't going for her because she was a minor. It was just she was there
yeah,
and and like was already like sensitive to to the afterlife, I guess. So it was like easier to work with. So the fact that she was a minor was more incidental. It's just like she was there and she was available, I guess, so to speak.
I mean,
Because he was just
is
using her to become mortal again, to like come back to life. They didn't, which in some ways, this movie, maybe from that standpoint, this movie makes the first movie creepier. Oh, because like, wait, he was actually in love with her? Like, wait a minute.
I don't know. I don't know. That seems to be something that developed after the fact. But like
Yeah,
I said, it makes sense in light of the cartoon series. If the cartoon series never existed, I just think that was written in there for fans of the cartoon. But
hmm.
that's just my opinion. I don't know.
Did he have like an office and a desk in the cartoon?
No, no. I
No,
mean, his obsession with Lydia.
right.
Because the cartoon made them a pair, not a romantic pair, but just a pair.
Yeah,
It's the deal. If the cartoon didn't exist, it would have just been something that happened at the end of the first film. It wouldn't necessarily have been this, oh, you got to have Lydia with Beetlejuice kind of thing. But that's just my opinion. I really don't know. I do know that Beetlejuice goes to Hawaii or goes Hawaiian. The original sequel, they got scrapped, was going to follow the cartoon a little, in that they were going to be friends. Did you? I actually took the time to read a synopsis on that. I don't know if you actually checked out Beetlejuice Goes to Wine. I've got a copy of the script on my computer, but all I can say is I'm glad they didn't make that film.
I just know the very basic idea of it from an episode, a couple of different podcasts. I've listened to episodes on Beetlejuice, but one in particular from the What Went Wrong podcast. They talked a little bit about the sequel that could have happened. But
Well, I'm glad it happened.
I think it was them. It was either them or the Wizard and the Bruiser who covered it. One of those two podcasts. But one of the hosts had and looked up the script. Might have been the Wizard and the Bruiser. But they had actually looked up the script and read part of it. And
Why aren't we called the redneck and the talking? I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I don't know if he qualifies as a redneck, but I'm referencing something.
No, I don't. I mean, at least not in the traditional sense. The traditional sense of a redneck would be someone from a rural area who's a farmer, which is where the term came from. Like your neck gets red because it gets burnt by the sun. You're out in the field all day, so you're a red neck. But yeah, in the way it's commonly referred to, it's still kind of like the like it's definitely a harmful stereotype in some ways because it implies that people in rural areas are stupid, or just because you have a southern twang like this that you're somehow less intelligent, which is doesn't have anything to do with it, you know.
Right.
But that is often the stereotype.
I was just joking because the other podcast is called The Wizard and the Bruiser. Anyway,
oh, you were like if we renamed ourselves like the redneck and the otaku and that woman, no, and Laura, no, redneck otaku and Laura. That would be kind of funny, actually.
Laura,
the redneck, the otaku, and Laura. Anyway, so did you have anything more? Wait, did you share anything that you liked about it yet? I forget.
Yes, I started to. I love Bob. I love the Shrunken Head people.
Yes.
I did not like Rory, but that's okay. He gets eaten.
Yeah, you're not supposed to like Rory, so I don't think.
I started liking Rory because I started feeling like, okay, maybe he's sincere, but just really stupid. But no, in the end, he gets
idiot.
Yeah.
No,
yeah,
he seems slimy from the start.
Exactly. And there was so much going on in the plot, I actually didn't see that coming, but I wasn't super. I was surprised, but I wasn't super surprised. There was just a lot going on in the plot, I guess, and I didn't realize we had room for one more thing. But I love Danny DeVito in the film. I actually love the Dolores character. I love the backstory for Beetlejuice. I did not like how Dolores was pushed back to a B or C plot. That was a lot of set up for nothing, you know? There was a lot of set up for nothing.
Yeah, she didn't. She kind of disappeared for about a third of the movie there until the climactic wedding scene. Like I knew she was coming back for that. Like that was obvious. Like, yeah, of course she's gonna come back and she's gonna get in the way of Beetlejuice marrying Lydia.
Yeah, or you know what? Another possible ending could have been that they didn't use Dolores saves Lydia from Beetlejuice. I don't know. I just think that Dolores needed more presence at the end of the film. That's all I'm saying. But whether she's a villain or a hero,
she's definitely a villain. She's evil. Like she's killing, like double killing the ghosts, and was gonna do it to Beetlejuice, which they don't say which I guess is not that important, but they don't say what his name was.
Beetlejuice,
like his actual name.
True.
As a human, like what his name was.
But that's a good point.
I liked how they did that scene where they broke in with like it was like talking with an Italian accent. Yeah, I thought that. I mean, it was a different voice. So obviously, it wasn't Michael Keaton narrating that portion. But I thought that was an interesting choice. I kind of liked it.
I didn't realize that was supposed to be Beetlejuice actually narrating that, but that's interesting.
It wasn't. Not really. I mean, it was they made a stylistic choice. They went. I mean, it was a different voice actor. I don't.
Yeah.
It was sort of like it was like Beetlejuice suddenly had a different voice, and he was telling the story of him and his ex-wife.
How did you feel about the Beetlejuice baby?
Creepy.
Yeah, it was like the creepiest thing in the film.
Creepy little demon child. Yeah, that probably was the creepiest thing in the film. Not the most gruesome thing, but the creepiest.
Excuse me, suddenly have a leg cramp. I must stand up now. First time on the podcast.
Okay. So that reminds me of a line from Gravity Falls, which we need to cover. We haven't covered yet.
We need that.
Yeah, but it just reminds me of something Zeus once said: kill it with fire."
Zeus.
Yeah, dude. Uncle Stan. Grunkle Stan. Grumpy Uncle. Grunkle.
We're gonna have fun reviewing Gravity Falls.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I know we probably need to wrap up soon. I just want to talk about the ending right quick. The ending of Beetlejuice 2 was a bit vague.
Mm-hmm.
After I thought about it, it seemed a little less vague. I started understanding it a bit more, but at first it was like one of those what the heck endings.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty sure because it does confuse you a bit, but I'm pretty sure the entire thing, the way I interpreted it, the entire thing was Lydia's dream. Like she was dreaming, but it may have been a dream that was influenced by Beetlejuice. If he could like insert himself somewhat.
I think so.
So that was my interpretation. Was that it was her dreaming, but that Beetlejuice might have been influencing the dream, at least by the time they get into the because initially it was like is this just showing what actually happened later? So like she's there in I guess France or Italy or somewhere with her daughter, and she just meets this gorgeous man, and they end up getting married. But then where it started getting a little surreal is when they go to the delivery room, and it's like this weird like early 1900s delivery room, and I'm like, wait, okay, something's off. So I was like, something was off, and then it became clear, like, oh crap, like she just gave birth to the Beetlejuice baby.
Yeah.
But at that point, I wasn't sure if it was a dream or if it was that Beetlejuice had later intervened. But yeah, I kind of like what they did, where like she has like the false wake up, and he's like, then he gets up next to her, he's like, I had the weirdest dream. He's like, wait, did they actually get together? And then she wakes up again. For real.
I have questions. Earlier in the film, at the wedding, they're dancing to music, and Beetlejuice says, "Don't you just love a dream sequence?" So, our time, after this ending happened, I was thinking, what just happened? Did he actually marry Lydia, and everything after the singing and dancing didn't actually happen?
Or was the entire movie a dream sequence? No.
Awesome.
Dun dun dun. Yeah. I didn't really catch. Yeah, I don't know. Huh. That is a little confusing. Don't you just love a dream sequence?
So basically, I just didn't understand when reality stopped and the dream started. That's what I was confused about. Does the dream happen after Astrid meets the boy, or does the dream happen when they get on the road after Lydia cancels her show, or does the dream start in the chapel? I'm probably thinking too far into it. I love Beetlejuice, so I'm glad I got to talk about it.
Yeah, and I wonder, it could be that line was a reference to the song that was playing, which I'm not super familiar with, but I recognized it to a certain extent. But I'm not sure.
Right.
But yeah, the ending was a little confusing. But overall, like I liked the climactic scene for the most part. Although Lydia she kind of had this expression of glee when she realized that the guy who, which he did betray her, but then she also kind of let herself be betrayed, which her daughter points out earlier in the film. It's like, because her daughter sees right through the guy pretty easily, and she's like, it's like, if my mom's gonna let herself be taken in by that, then that's on her. So then at the end, where she's like gleefully waiting for him to be eaten by the sandworm, I'm like, okay, that as I said before, like that's a little dark. But anyway, okay, so get real quick to some things I liked and things I didn't like. Let me see. So it was obviously that they went back to that same town in Vermont and filmed there again, rebuilt the house. So that was beautiful. I enjoyed seeing all of that like on the big screen because obviously I didn't see the first one on the big screen. My parents would not have let me go to see that, which we didn't go to theaters anyway. But I don't think they would have let me see Beetlejuice even if we did. Not in theaters anyway. But
you were basically Amish.
No. Like we watched movies, we just didn't go to the theater much. Like we would wait till they were out for rent, and then we would rent them and watch them at home. So I still watched a lot of movies growing up. One of the reasons I like movies. Played a lot of video games and all that, but just didn't get to go to the theater till I was older, till I was an adult. Which is one of the reasons why I really enjoy it now. Not quite as much, like some of the newness eventually wore off, but I still enjoy it. Like today, when I went today to go see this one, just like obviously the theater I go to is nice and comfortable. It has the sofa chairs. And
I'm just picking on you. That's all. I'm just picking on your childhood. Sorry about that. I don't mean for you to stop your discussion just to defend your childhood. Sorry.
Anyway. So yeah, it was I like I mentioned before, I liked the fact that they did more practical effects. I thought the production value was good. I actually liked Michael Keaton's performance, and like obviously he's grown and matured as an actor over the years, but I thought he did a pretty good job, like evoking the original Beetlejuice.
Yeah,
like after having seen the two close together, I'm like he did a good job, like bringing that character back. Not quite as physically expressive, but then some of that, like we talked about, maybe because he's just old, like he's in his mid-70s now or something like that. He looks pretty good, like for that age. Obviously not in the Beetlejuice makeup, but
yeah.
Outside of that, I think he's mid-70s or early 70s. Anyway, no, I thought he did a pretty good job. I liked. This is the first thing I've seen Jenna Ortega in. Obviously, you hear about her all the time, but this is the first thing I've actually seen her in, and I thought she did a solid job as Astrid. I liked her, like the energy that she brought. I thought that was a good fit. Like I said, I was a little disappointed with Winona Ryder's performance. Some of that weird like anxiety energy, that shyness, weird anxiety was coming out. And again, I don't know how much of that is just some things that happen in her personal life that kind of come through in her acting, or if it's an acting choice on her part. I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, I don't remember her being like that when she was earlier in her career. Ironically, seemed more confident in some ways back then. But some of the, it's still. I think she. But yeah, it didn't like take me out of the film necessarily, but yeah, it wasn't my favorite part of the film. I thought Justin Theroux did a good job as her fiance. Like I'd never seen him in a comedic role before. I'd only seen him in more serious drama type stuff. So I thought he did a pretty good job being unlikable in a somewhat funny way. And, but yeah, probably my two favorite characters in this one would be Astrid and Bob.
Yeah.
Good old Bob. And I like the fact that all his other employees escaped into the real world, and then they never get caught. They just one of them just randomly riding a bike through town later. Okay. And I kind of like that they didn't tie that up, that they're just now out in the world running around.
Yeah, I like that too.
I thought that was funny.
I was confused how people could see them when they can't see other ghosts, but then again, they can see Beetlejuice. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good question. Maybe it's something about the portal that they went through. Something about the one that Beetlejuice opened. Maybe that allowed them to be seen. I don't know. Hard to say.
Maybe they're just a different type of ghost.
Yeah, maybe. All right. Well, so ratings. So how many nerd hats out of 5 would you give this right now? I know when you first walked out of the theater, you probably rated it like a 2.5 or something, right? But what are you thinking now after reflecting on it for a couple of weeks?
I'm going to give it a 3.5. It's not as good as the original, and it still annoys me that the A plot turns into a B or C plot. But otherwise, it's a good film.
Okay.
So 3.5 nerd hats.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna do the same. I think it at least is a. That's what I gave the original, and I think this is at least a tie. At least a tie with the original in terms of quality and yeah, and I enjoyed it. I thought it was fun, good performances, good pacing. It was short, which was nice, like just 90 minutes, which is unusual for live action movies these days. But yeah, the pacing was pretty good. Probably a few little things that might have helped if they had added in, but yeah, for the most part, I thought it was pretty clean plot. And but yeah, initially I was thinking of like rating it slightly higher, but I think it at least matches the first film for me, like overall quality, and it recaptured the weirdness, in a I think fairly effective way, I thought. So it's Tim Burton, I think, getting back to his form, as it were, getting back to what he really likes to do. I think for a bit there he was not like a sellout, but I think he was trying to cater a little too much to kind of the Hollywood machine there for a bit. With some of his films, particularly some of the ones he made for Disney. And I didn't hate those films, but yeah, this just feels more like classic Tim Burton. And so I kind of like that actually.
What did he make for Disney that you're referencing?
Like the Alice in Wonderland movies, like um
I
and
didn't know he made those. Okay.
Yeah, he made 2 of them, and they were mediocre. Like like they had some weirdness to it. Like Johnny Depp was in both of them, and so they had elements that I liked, but yeah, he's. I think this is more his wheelhouse, like this and like Batman Returns, like you mentioned, Pee Wee's Big Adventure, um, Nightmare Before Christmas. Classic Tim Burton stuff.
Yeah.
As
I think Bride, which I think is Disney.
Yeah. Well, or at least, yeah, connected.
Or connected to Disney. I thought that was a good Tim Burton.
I need to see that. I know that's a sequel to Nightmare Before Christmas, isn't it?
No, but
or
it's a sequel, but it's not a sequel. No.
Oh, okay. Similar.
Yeah, it's just similar in some ways.
Well, cool. So we both pretty much agree 3.5 nerd hats on this one. And I forget what you gave the first one. Like you gave it a 4, I think, didn't you? The first one.
I think so.
Yeah.
There's a lot of nostalgia there.
Oh yeah.
But I purposely wanted to rate the second one lower just because of my very minor grievances. Anyway, I would love to see a sequel, and I hope they bring Dolores back just so I can be satisfied.
Well, yeah, like you said, I mean, since he came back after getting eaten by a sandworm, I don't see any reason why she couldn't. It was interesting that apparently she hadn't been able to walk around in the afterlife because Beetlejuice like cut her up, and her various body parts were in trunks sitting on a shelf down there in the storage room or something. It's like I'm assuming he had a hand in that somehow, because like he probably died right after doing that. So I don't know. But they didn't go into detail about that. like why she was in various suitcases, other than the fact that it became obvious because he grabs an axe. And, he like cut her up.
Did you notice the severed finger in the first film with the wedding ring?
No, I didn't.
I think that retroactively is Dolores' finger.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Anyway, we're coming up on our final 2 minutes here, so
yeah,
should wrap this up. So that's it for our review of Beetlejuice, or Beetlejuice Squared, or Beetlejuice 2, depending on how you want to refer to it. So we both liked it. Like, in retrospect, sounds like I enjoyed it more than you did, at least in the actual watch.
I had high expectations, and it's not good to do a film with high expectations.
Yeah, because they can easily be dashed.
Yeah,
yes, I had measured expectations, and when I enjoyed it. It delivered what I expected. I'll put it that way. So
great.
All right, nerds. Well, thanks for joining us once again, and until next time,
sayonara.
Live long and prosper. Nerds, Richard here. Thank you so much for listening to this week's episode. While you wait for the next one, I would like to invite you to connect with us online. There are several ways you can do that. You can follow us on Instagram @NerdhatPod, find and like us on Facebook @NerdHat, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Nerdhat Entertainment, and of course, you can follow us on all the major podcasting platforms, including Spotify, Apple Podcast, and Amazon Music. Join us next time as we talk about more nerdy shit. Live long and prosper, nerds.